ค่ะขอเชิญทุกท่านน้อมกราบพระอาจารย์สุชนฮะจากวรปัญญา Meditation Center สกอตแลนด์ค่ะกราบกราบกราบนิมนต์พระอาจารย์เจ้าค่ะ
นะมัตโตอารัตนาตยัสสะมาขอนอบน้อมแด่องค์สมเด็จพระสัมมาสัมพุทธเจ้าและขอเจริญพรญาติโยมสาธุชนทุกท่านนะวันนี้ก็เรามาพบปะกันเพื่อจะได้ทำสมาธินะเรียนรู้นะเรื่องการนะโอเคได้ยินไหมเสียงก็ดังขนาดนี้แหละ นะโอเคเราก็จะได้มาปฏิบัติกันนะวันนี้ก็ให้บรรยายเป็นภาษาอังกฤษด้วยนะการปฏิบัติธรรมเนี่ยนะคือเราฝึกให้มีสติเท่านั้นเองเมื่อสติแล้วเราก็จะได้รู้เพราะฉะนั้นการจะให้มีสติก็ต้องมีฐานที่ตั้งถ้ามีฐานที่ตั้งแล้วสติมันก็เกิดขึ้นมาเรื่อยๆเพราะฉะนั้นฐานที่ตั้งนั้นก็คือเราก็สร้างอะไรก็ได้เอาอันไหนก็ได้นั่นคือเบื้องต้นหลังจากสติมาแล้วเราก็พัฒนาเข้าไปเรียนรู้ได้อย่างที่เราพูดกันก็คือสติมาปัญญาเกิด so practice of meditation is to development or arousing of mindfulness and in order to have mindfulness we have to have a foundation so called the patana and that comes in the satipatthana so patana means establishment or arousing or close or firmly establishing steady so once we have a foundation and it's much easier to get the mindfulness and once we have got the mindfulness or we have aroused the mindfulness it's easy to gain the wisdom so the practice of meditation as a result first of all we have to generate the sati or mindfulness and without that we would not be able to develop wisdom and without the wisdom we would not be able to change or understand things as they truly are in the practice of a meditation as a result first of all we have to have a good intention and that intention actually not expecting anything no expectation at all in the practice once you don't have an expectation we have to have this right attitude and This right attitude basically helps us to keep our mind untainted. The untainted mind, whenever we are directing to pay attention to any object, would be much easier, and also will be able to relax ourselves much better. Because relaxation is one of the very key factors of the practice of meditation. If you are not relaxed, you cannot meditate properly. So in order to relax, we have to be free our expectation, and also we have to have the right attitude. A right attitude here means it could happen anything, and could arise anything, and having a clear understanding of that. So in this case, whenever we are establishing our mindfulness on the object, then it helps to relax our mind body. It helps to focus on intended object without any pressure or tension, but in a relaxed position. So when you are relaxed, your mind body, and there is no expectation, and there is no misunderstanding, and we have one object to pay attention to begin with, then mindfulness gradually develops. When mindfulness develops, that's why it helps to practice much better. So initially, when we are practicing meditation, first of all, we have to relax our mind body. Now, practice of a meditation, we have major 4 postures: sitting, standing, walking, and lying down. Among these 4 postures of a practice of a meditation, we can practice it at any postures. Although the famous practice meditation is the sitting meditation. In the sitting meditation, it is advisable that one has to adapt one object. Without adapting one object, sitting meditation may not have benefits, because it can be a moment of your thinking a lot and then lost into the thoughts. Adapting one object helps you to keep focus at the beginning to develop the mindfulness. And when you are paying attention to it again, there is no superficial attention, there is no wobbliness, and also mind is not following or floating along with the thoughts. And you have fully understood what is happening. And mind is observing an object completely without any trouble. So that is the most important part of the practice. So first of all, we're able to observe and adapt the object, an ability to be mindfully paying attention to it without losing it, and also able to stay with that object face to face. Now, when we can do that one, what happens is that we have established our awareness. We have a sati now. Now, sati about the object, or sati has been aroused on the base that we are paying attention to, and that is the object. When we are able to continuously pay attention to it face to face. Now, that has been helpful to keep the mind at the bay as we wish it to be. The mind obviously will not stay in a one place. And we should not be trying to keep the mind at this one object for all the time. It is advisable to practice like that for some times, simply to gain the strength. And once we have established, then we have to let it work on its own so that we can understand how this is working and how phenomena arise and vanishes. So with that, we able to maintain that, and with that, mindfulness becomes strong and able to understand phenomena. So that's why sitting meditation is advisable to practice at least twice or once a day as a formal meditation, and that's again 15 to 20 minutes is good enough if you are just a beginner. Now, sitting meditation alone is not deep practice. So we can practice it while we are walking, while we are standing, and even while we are sleeping or lying down. Now, lying down or a sleeping meditation is not advisable, because as we relax our body, and it's very easy to go to the sleepy mode and lost consciousness, lost awareness. So with that, we go into the deep sleep. So if your mind is not strong enough yet, and you have not developed your mindfulness in an advanced level, then it is not advised to practice a lying down meditation. But for other three, you can practice at any time: sitting, standing, and walking. So these three postures we will be practicing a lot, particularly if you are attending retreats. Then obviously these three are the main practices. And the standing and walking, again, while we are practicing a standing position, we're observing the entire body that it is standing. So observing from top to bottom, various ways you can observe it. Just feel the entire body standing. Feel the pressure on the ground that you are standing on. Feel this different sensations that is arising in your body. But most important is that as you are thinking at that moment, then simply need to come back to the body again. The awareness of the standing body all the time. There is, try not to have any other thoughts. Another way you can do is take the long breath and feel the entire body standing. Or reciting the standing and following the entire body. It is advised to practice at least 3 to 4 times. The first time is to feel the standing body. Second is to feel the standing position, standing on the ground, feel the touching. And even further, if you want to practice it, you can extend it to the up and down of entire body, and extending it to the entire the earth that we are standing on, feeling the grateful of it. And then the walking meditation, obviously, it is one of the practices that is advised. And now, different traditions will teach you differently how to practice walking meditation. Now, walking meditation is basically learning to be mindful in our daily life. As much of the time we are walking, much of the time we are on the move. If you're learning how walking meditation helps you to keep the balance in your life. Whenever you are walking, wherever you are going, you will be more mindful. Whether you are walking towards the kitchen, toilet, shopping, in the office, or in a going to market or wherever, you'll be able to mindful of your walk, and that keeps your mind with yourself rather than letting the mind thinking here and there, lost into the thoughts. So mindfulness is in action with you at all the time in your daily life. Now, obviously, if you're on a retreat, then different levels of walking meditation are there. A basic instruction is that when you are walking, you know that you are walking. So that is a brisk walk. You don't have to slow it down, and you don't have to be tense. Just consciously aware that you are walking. And another section is that ability to be mindful that I am moving a right leg and a left leg. Each time when you are moving forward, right leg, then you know that you are moving right leg. And each time when you are moving left leg, you know that you are moving left leg. And further on, if you're practicing and your mindfulness getting better and better, you can extend it slower, either leaving and placing, or lifting, moving, placing, and so on. There are 6 levels of a walking meditation that you can practice. And with that practice, a mindfulness becomes more stronger and stronger. Initially, when we are practicing walking meditation, we will not have strong mindfulness at the beginning. But if you are constantly practicing it, gradually you will be able to concentrate much better. Your concentration becomes more stronger, and your mindfulness has got a strong perception. And that will again help you to do the sitting meditation much, much better. Now, in sitting meditation, again, different traditions will follow differently. Much of the tradition advised us to practice walking meditation first and then sitting. And there are some tradition teaches us to emphasize more on walking than sitting. Like in a forest tradition, you are advised to do a more walking meditation than a sitting. So it's up to you which one you adopt, which one you practice. And after that, when you are, just suppose you are sitting, after walking meditation, you're going back to the sitting, and it's much helpful and easy to concentrate. Now, sitting meditation, as I have said, that we have to have an object to pay attention to. So we have to adapt one object as a primary object. Without having a primary object, as we are not fully trained, it's easy to lost into the thoughts. So adopting one object helps to keep our mind focused, and it helps to develop awareness. And adapting the object, it's up to you which tradition you are following. Maybe breathing in and breathing out. It could be rising and falling of the abdomen, or Samma, Arahang, Buddho. It doesn't matter. But according to the suttas, it appears that adapting any object from outside is helpful to generate the mindfulness, and eventually you have to leave those objects aside and internalize into ourself, paying attention to the body, feeling, and mental states, and how these interact. So according to the Satipatthana, that's why first of all we have to adopt the object that is related to the body itself. So we begin with breath. So breathing. Now remember, a breathing meditation is not that you are thinking and you are jumping into the practice of a breathing meditation straight away. In the instruction, once you have fully relaxed your mind body, then awareness or a mindfulness arises automatically, naturally. It is called a parimukhang sating upattapetawa, having a mindfulness at front. So as we relax our mind body, this arises. Awareness will arise without any difficulties, without any trouble. And then when mindfulness arises in our body, this in front, what is the first thing that we become aware is the breath. Because breath is moving all the time, and it is interacting with our body. And we feel the breath coming in and going out. And now here doesn't mean that you are feeling in your nose. It doesn't have to be in your nose. It could be in your belly, or it could be in your chest. So when you are fully relaxed and observing this breath coming in and going out, wherever you feel comfortable, and the mind adapts and feel more relaxed, then adapting that as an object to start off, and paying attention to the breath and observing the breath. So when you are practicing in this way, naturally, what happens that your mindfulness becomes clear, and you have a right intention, and you don't have any expectation. Whatever phenomena arises at that time, as you are observing the in breath and out breath in a relaxed position, relaxed way, this phenomena will just arises and we have a clear awareness of it. And at that time, you are not thinking about the breath, you are feeling the breath. So that is called intuitive awareness. It's not about what you think, but it's about how you are feeling. So when you are feeling, when there is no thinking and there is no sanya involved, there is no memories involved and there is no expectations involved. You are having a clear mindfulness of the breath, incoming, outgoing, and fully interacting with your body. And gradually you develop the full awareness of your body. And further on, as your mindfulness develops, then you will realize that this breath is in fact we felt. So feeling, we will be able to work with the feeling. Whether that feeling is leading to the pleasant feeling or unpleasant feeling or just a feeling. When we are working with the feeling, what happens that we will not be experiencing the body. The bodily experiences are subsided. Now you're working with the feeling. So feeling again links to the mind, directly having a connection with the mind. And at the moment, we will be able to recognize that how my mind is reacting or how my mind is interacting with that feeling. If you are interacting with a greed, you will have emotions of positive emotions, happiness, joy, feeling blessed. If you are reacting with a negatively, then you will have negative emotions, sadness, upset, unhappiness, miserable, and so on. So all the emotions that we are experiencing in our day-to-day life is basically the reaction to the feelings. Yes, that reaction is basically coming out from our own intention, wanting to be, wanting to have, or not wanting to, or not wanting to have. The mental state we will be able to recognize, and as we able to recognize this mental state, it helps to recognize or realize the relationship of these phenomena and how these phenomena arises. What is the condition of arising these phenomena? And that's called the Dhammanupassana. And at that time, again, we have excelled the mind. We're not working with the mind anymore. We become watchful of how this mind is working. And that is the ultimate practice action. That will help us to recognize the Four Noble Truths. I am suffering because. I am unhappy because. We will have a right understanding of this suffering in its true nature. When we talk about the true nature, it is not just about psychological or scientific awareness, but it's true felt and understood understanding. It's like you have really understood the suffering in your bones, ins and out. And once you have understood that, that helps you to understand that these are because of, and you also will be find way out when you are in trouble. you will try to find ways to get out of it. Same, once we have fully understood the suffering and its causes, automatically we will be trying to find a way out. And that's why the Eightfold Noble Path comes in. So, Eightfold Noble Path, in fact, is the Buddha's invention, Buddha's realizations. So, entire Buddhism is, that's why, a path rather than a belief. A path that anyone who is walking on this path will realize this Dhamma, will realize the happiness. It is the path to be walked by people. By people. Once you have walked on it, eventually that will lead to the liberation. That's why it's called Ekayano Ayang Pikawe Maggo. This is the only way, Buddha said. This is the only way or a direct path for the purification of all the beings and freeing all the sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and attaining the Nibbana. And on this path, again, you have to walk alone. No one will be walking with you. You have to practice alone. No one will be practicing with you. And once you have walked on this path, there's only one destination, that is the Nibbana, the liberation. And again, in order to attain this liberation or Nibbana, and this is the only way. So that is the instruction that the Buddha gave. So this is how we should be understanding the teachings of the Buddha, and a practice that leads to the happiness. And with the awareness or development of the mind, we will be able to realize this bit by bit, bit by bit. It's like unfolding. It's like a peeling onion. You're unfolding one after another, to see that eventually there is nothing. There's only cause and effect that is causing it to arise or having it. So, this is the practice of meditation. And you can practice it in everyday life. And once you become fully confident and able to comprehend, then you can extend it into daily life, even small or minor activities, and that you will be able to comprehend more clearly. And with that comprehension, you will gain more wisdom to know things as they truly are and understanding the way things are. So, I offer this as a reflection for today, and now this time for the practice of meditation. So I invite you to come and relax yourself, both mind, body, and bring your attention to be more mindful and relaxing. Leave all your responsibilities aside. Bring your attention to feel the body sitting here and now. Feel the body as you are sitting. No tension, no discomforts, but just a relaxation, and your mind is fully aware and alert at this moment. As you feel the body Where do you feel the most, and why do you feel the most? And in a particular place that you feel more comfortable and relaxed, and use that as your object of meditation. Could be a breath in your nose or your belly or your chest. Suppose you have adapted to the rising, falling of your abdomen, then just stick with it. Remain and concentrating on this object. Ability to be mindful of the rising, falling, and making a note of it as it rises and as it falls. Do not interfere with it. Meanwhile, do not try to regulate it, to make it short or long. Do not regulate it. Once we regulate the rising, falling, then it becomes unnatural. You want it to be in that way. But the practice of a meditation is not about what you want. It's about what you know, how you know, where you know. So simply aware and knowing it, not regulating, not holding or not pushing, making it long or short, and so on. So the first practice is to let it settle. And as mind settles on the primary object, try to recognize the different breaths, different rise and different falls, and how it falls, how it arises, and how the moment of it arising, what sort of sensations you can observe, and what set of sensations are there. And whatever sensations are there, then try not to make any judgments or opinions on it, simply watching as they are. As they arise, we simply watch, recognize, and let it be. So continue practicing until the end. อรหันตานันจะเตเจนะรักขังวันตามิสัพพโสสัพพพุทธานุภาเวนะสัพพธัมมานุภาเวนะสัพพสังฆานุภาเวนะสตาโสติภะวันตุเตเมตตานะสัพเพสัตตาสัตว์ทั้งหลายที่เป็นเพื่อนตัวเกิดแก่เจ็บตายด้วยกันทั้งหมดทั้งสิ้นอเวราหุนตัวจงเป็นสุขเป็นสุขเถิดอย่าได้มีเวรแก่กันและกันเลยอาภัยอาปชาหุนตัวจงเป็นสุขเป็นสุขเถิดอย่าได้พยาบาทเบียดเบียนซึ่งกันและกันเลยอานิคาหุนตัวจงเป็นสุขเป็นสุขเถิดอย่าได้มีความทุกข์กายทุกข์ใจเลยสุขีอัตานังปริหารันตัวจงมีความสุขกายสุขใจรักษาตนให้พ้นจากทุกข์ภัยทั้งสิ้นเถิดไหว้พระกันนะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวาพุทธังภะคะวันตังอภิวาเทมิสวากขาโตภะคะวตาธัมโมธัมมังนัมสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามิอนุโมทนาบุญกับทุกท่านนะขอให้ทุก